No one knows what it's like to get bummed. To get bummed behind mince pies. How we getting on? I'm just gonna wait here until the chat fills up. Just gonna wait here. Just chill. Feel extra ginger tonight, man. So ginger tonight. Oh, tonight. 3 people in the chat. Kevin Ian Murphy, Peter Hamrock, Danny Hertzler, from Anchorage, Shawnee from Chicago, David Weld, he says, well, Flavio Mella returned the Ginger Chuck Norris legend. Oh, Chucky R. Lahar, Chucky R. Norris. Come here to me. Come up here. That's the fucking boy. Come up here, Crash. This fucking lad here, hey. Swear, man. He lives by my credo. Ooh. Some people having fun outside, man. Cunts, huh? Bastards, huh? Who's it? Who's it? Huh? Who's that? Who is that? Who is that? What? Bastards, huh? Bastards. They're fucking bastards, huh? They're sure bastards. Are they bastards, are they? Sure bastards, huh? Sorry, but I got carried away to see if I could get them to bark. But it's 1:45. I just thought I'd jump online very quickly. I was in the middle of cutting, It's just actually, how's this sounding? Because I didn't bother putting the microphone on or anything. Give me an old shout there if it's good volume, because I did the podcast there with Peter Ganley from iRadio a couple of years back. Fair play, a good crack. But even with the fancy microphone, all that shit, like it still didn't sound great. So that means I'm gonna have to chop the whole fucking timeline up for about an hour and 45 minutes, and then lower my bits and higher. I'll get it done tomorrow. But I just thought I'd come in and just let you know the crack. How is Zachin Quinn, the Shield of Ballycastle? How fucking Ballycastle? Is that down near fucking Ballinagh, is it? Out near Belmullet. I sound like the Midwest Radio. Midwest Radio. Paul Byron shoes. Quality, value, and fashion. Don't miss this week's shoe sale on it. Paul Byron by Dewberry AV8s for €25. Our excellent value continues into the footwear department with Ascot runners, high-tech runners, and Dunlop Wellingtons. Yes, this is Paul Byron shoes. What do you think of us Dubliners? Fucking Dubliners, man, of sound. I lived in Dublin for many's a year, and I fucking drank a load of chicken wings and... Oh, I fucked that one up. Yeah, no, Dublin... The Dubs are fucking sale, man. I know a load of them, yeah. I know a load of them from all parts of Dublin, all around the city, the grand. To Marsh O'Keefe. Sorry I missed what the crack was there. Don't worry about them anyway, alright. Northwest Horse, fair folks, hey, fair folks. Any old crack with G-boys and girls out there, I know. Do me something out. Fast bit of chatting. Favorite police song? It's a good call. Fucking David Weld, man. I like you. If I play, you keep the chat going, Dahi. Favorite police song? I know it's not police, but I'm quite partial to the. Look at them yo-yos. That's the way you do it. You money for nothing and your chicks for free. We got to install microwave ovens. I have one of them. Custom kitchen. I have a kitchen. Deliveries. You can get Uber to deliver food. We got to move these refrigerators. I've got a fridge. We got to move these color TVs. So by virtue of me being 35 years on from that song, I have all of the cool shit that Money for Nothing by Sting and Dire Straits had. So fortunately, I mean, I don't have a Bugatti Veyron or a massive gaff or like chinchilla fur coat, but doing all right, man. I got a colour TV, got a fridge, got a cooker as well, which is good. Got a sink and a toilet, so that means if you need to take a shit, it just goes out in a pipe and you never see it again, which is fantastic. We've got any acting comedy gigs in the pipeline? Asks John Smith. No, I haven't, mate. As far as I know, a girl actually got onto me on Instagram and asked if I wanted to be interested in a scriptures writing. So I said, send it over. The fuck, man, I'll have a look at it. Other than that, like, it's all quiet. Fucking Landor, my man, it's good. Good to see you. Good to see you. Can you take 5 albums to solitary confinement? Ooh, what are you taking? It's another good question, but I think I'll go back to David Wells' Police song. Probably Message in a Bottle. Probably that's a good old tune, is that? Custom Kitchen. Cool knows the crack, man. Granite work surface. Oh, it's only an old IKEA job that gets the job done. Guinness or Beamish? Oh, Guinness, man. But sure, you'd have an old bit of Beamish if you're down in Cork, But what would you do if the supply lines got cut off? You're talking about the Beamish there. Shaft, mate, yourself. I'm good, mate, I'm good. Occam's brute. I was chatting to some tidy Chinese bird off Tinder, but now she's trying to get me to trade Bitcoin. Did a spot of Googling. It's a scam. Careful out there, lads. Yeah, did you see the Chinese are going fucking lula? Billy Boy fucking Gates got scammed. Another guy called Mr. Beast as well, whoever this Clem is. A lot of people on Twitter basically, all right, this is I mean, I don't know how people got scammed by Bill Gates' official account, which was saying to give something back, if you send me $500 worth of Bitcoin, he'll give you 1,000 back. So apparently 78. That dodgy account or that scam had sent him $78,000 worth of Bitcoin, and Mr. Beast, whoever was using his account, they managed to get $7.8 million in Bitcoin money. And that's just doesn't bear thinking about. Kanye West as well, yeah, that's right. Twitter bumishments, Dwayne, and they said Dwayne Elvis. Yeah, Dwayne. Jed Elvis. Yeah, you're dead right, Jed. I hear Jed. Come here. They'll be getting a bumishment on Twitter. There was a lovely little picture I seen of a comment I seen in like some tweet where it's just like, fuck you, or was it fuck you blue check mark or fuck your blue check mark or something? They just had like Godzilla with these little eyes. It was just beautiful. Bill Gates is the hacker. I heard. I fucking wouldn't be surprised, man. There was an hour of Twitter without blue checks. It was great. Oh man, what a world! Just Twitter without. I always wanted the blue check mark back in the day when I was starting off, and Twitter was still a place where people could have like somewhat of a civil conversation within 180 characters, and I couldn't get that because it was a character page. I was just like, fuck it then. I didn't get my Instagram verified either. What are you gonna do? First world problems, right? The Pope was involved. Was he now? Cy Bennett. I like that shy lad. Has anyone seen Chrissy Teigen meltdown? Well, wasn't she on the plane to the island of absolute noncery? There was a couple of weird shit, but I don't know how the hell she managed to block 1 million people. Like, who goes through that many people and just blocks them? I can't understand what the process would have been for that. I heard Jedward are coming up for a bit, but they're going to get rammed. Going to get bully rammed by Simon Cowell. I had an opportunity to invest in Bitcoin mining shit with my buddy years ago. Didn't get involved. Man, a grand invested back then could have got me a good bit of coin. Funny enough, there's a friend of mine over here who's a friend of his. I think he was an American guy who was with a Thai woman. and he made like I think $70 million off Bitcoin, like insane money. And then he built an island, like a man-made, more like a platform of in international waters outside of Thailand, and they wanted to give him life in prison. A mad bastard. John Kennedy said, Chrissy Teigen likes pizza, deep dish job. Fucking weird stuff. We got a thumbnail sorted, hey. Yeah, I just thought, just to mix it up a bit, picture of Danny Dyer. Do you know what I mean? I met Danny Dyer very briefly, and if you watch the very last credit scenes of the Hardy Books Series 1, you will see me beside Danny Dyer in Eden, and there was fucking good times had. Like, he turned around to me, he said, oh, what you want? I had the horse's yoke on from the King of the Town. He was like, lovely, what's this? Oh, that's fucking, whoa, that's white cheeky, naughty, very, very naughty. But I could talk about, if Graham Russell pops up in the, oh, he's there, lovely, fair fucks to you, Graham. It's always, you can never go wrong with talking about Danny Dyer, and of course, Graham knows the crack. It's a lovely motor. The 730, it's a workhorse, Danny. If anybody hasn't seen Danny Dyer's Deadliest Men, the episode with Liverpool's favourite hardman gangster, the wicked devil, bad man, Stephen French, then please watch Danny Dyer, Britain's Deadliest Men, Stephen French episode, because it is just remarkable. You can just see the jealousy oozing out of him. But Danny Dyer and Stephen French references, can't go wrong with them. But Danny Dyer, I'd say Danny Dyer is brilliant crack. I seen him on, there was a video floating around of him on, I think it's like YouPorn or something, had like a party or something in London, and you could see he's beaked up, he's fucking chunked to the gills, and there's a real honesty, considering I'm not a tech wizard, so you'll have to bear with me, but I'll get this video up of Danny Dyer's extreme honesty. And he's talking about, let me see, Danny Dyer. Was it you porn or you slag? Someone wrote. Oh, here he is, man. Hold on. I mean, there's some bad language in this if you've got any youngsters. I love porn up. Shit, hold on. I love porn up. And he looks like he's been on a bit of the old bugle as well. He's
obviously, right? What else I do? Fucking hell. So you were up there with some fish. Listen, I'll be straight with you. Listen. Be straight with me, because a lot of people are straight tonight. No, listen. Love wanking, obviously, right? You have a little look on television. Fucking hell, so it's something happening, but it ain't enough. So what you do is you put your iPad on. You got a porn up, right? Yeah. Now listen. Depends what mood I'm in. Depends how much I'm off me nut. Categories go amateur. Sometimes go down BBW when you're on a right nutty one, when you've been about 8. I wouldn't say that, but listen. You can say it. My favourite. No, my favourite is mature. You like mature ladies, do you? I do like a mature bird. Right? I'll tell you for why.
Right, it gets a bit crude. I'm not condoning what he says next. He's a bit crude. He's been on the bugle.
Could have been a wet dog. Straight goer, but porn up gets you out of a lot of trouble.
Wait to hear this is from experience.
Love my missus, right? Straight goer.
Straight goer
gets you out of a lot of trouble, because otherwise I'm out there fucking about. Stay indoors, wank, go to bed. So what is your message to the people at home? Don't fuck around, watch porn up. No, my message is, listen, man. Stick with the porn up, yeah? No, before you want to go out, spend loads of dough fucking about. Stay indoors. Once you've shot your bolt, go to bed. I tell you, it makes a lot of difference, mate. I tell you.
Straight from the heart.
Anyone here tonight, or are you all about I'm fucking going home. Can you do me a favour? Can you say you fucking sigh? You fucking sigh. Porn up, sweet as, crack on, have the wank, go to bed. Don't make the call. See you later.
Once you're shot, you bolt, go to bed. I mean, that is basically the most honest chat. Call stateside again. Oh, mate, every time I ring stateside, I have to put it into. I have to put it into limited status because he's just man's a liability, isn't he? What's the story of this Bailey Francisco, man? He's doing an awful lot of fucking spamming here. Bailey Francisco, big balls are. What does that even mean, man? Lockdown built my right arm up nicely with wanking God bless porn ab. Yeah, you want to counterbalance it with a left. Nonce. A funny liability though. Bailey, you'd want to knock that off. Big up yourself there, Martin. Jimmy James here reporting from my expedition. Jimmy James, fair play, mate, fair play. Stranger arm day. What about those lads who fall asleep on their arm, or they sit on their arm until it falls asleep? Not saying I've done it, but it's one of those myth jokes, isn't it? Stateside Pure Legend should do a live Zoom stream session sponsored by Heineken. Or drank it. You know, and when he says that, like I used to think he was being a bit, hyperbolic when he would discuss the amount of beers he put away in one night. But to be fair to the lad, he was over here staying with a mate of mine, Pete Silver, this crazy Finnish rocker dude. He's like big fucking, looks like Father Christmas. And fair play to Pete, he just let Stateside have the run of the place for about 8 days, and the amount of bottles that were in the kitchen, I'd say a good 80 odd bottles, ranging from Heineken bottles to vodka cans, cider. He puts some stuff away, man. He's an absolute force of nature. He's like Tugboat from the Natural Disasters, if you remember WWF. Obviously not the Wildlife Foundation. That was started by, I think it was fucking Aldous Huxley's brother, Julian Huxley, and Prince Philip. Ooh. But the WWF, back in the glory days of the 80s when Earthquake and Typhoon were a double act. WWF was fucking great, man. Mean Gene Oakley. Met your man Randy Savage. See you, Mean Gene. And what was his name? Fucking Ultimate Warrior as well. He was like, Ultimate Warrior is one of the coolest dudes ever when you were a kid. Bret the Hitman Hart, all those dudes. They was the days, man. Having a wank is probably half of keeping a marriage successful. I saved myself from dumb mistakes, rubbing one out. Aye. Truer words were never spoken. Do you remember filming the Pat Tricky video years ago? Hilarious stuff. Oh, it was brilliant crack. They call me Pat the Popper. But, and can you beep on a beep? And you can do whatever you like. That's also on my channel. When we were asked to do videos for Elveries and about the GAA final for the hurling final and the Mayo final, and both teams were sponsored by Elveries. I have to say, working with Elveries was an absolute pleasure. Great guys. And they just said, fucking lads, have at it and do whatever you like. And we had one where we'd used the football field, the grass in McKell Park as a green screen. So just had me and Owen like this with hurley sticks. And Chris had just edited in all this, we need to get more hurlers down there. It's just the sound of like fucking the Vietnam War. But we took the piss out of all those AIB All-Stars. Like the usual kind of adverts you get where it's like a lad. It's all black and white, and there's a lad with a fucking hurley and a schlitter, and he's got like a tire hanging from a tree, and he's trying to get the ball into it, and it's like, the passion, the pride, the dedication. Paul Casey, get Alan Carter on the podcast, I beg. I've asked Ali to come on for any of you who don't know, Ali is Scorpio. I've asked him a good few times, and he's like, no, man, I'm not fucking doing that anymore, man. Do you know what I mean? Fucking just don't fucking work, do my own thing, like, do you know? But he might come on again. Into sport, every's job. Well, the crack. What's the crack with Owen flashing the lad at the end of the movie? A bit random. Well, it was one of those basically where you were like, it's like, oh, we'll cover it up but then just were like, fuck it, we show the flute. So it was kind of one of them kind of jobs. A bit like the Simpsons movie, I suppose, when Bart Simpson was on the skateboard and it's like, it just shows his cock and balls. It was like, no, they just went there. Martin is more crack than Chris. What's he playing? Martin is more crack than Chris. Fair play to you. What's he playing? What's he playing games wise? Don't know. TQ, you're very welcome to the crack. I don't remember seeing his lad. Who? Bart Simpson's or Owen Colgan's? Both two fucking legends. Daniel Hertz, just got the notification too. I'll stay here when we have to pay for my little attention. You're a stand-up guy, Martin. Cheers, Danny. I appreciate you all dropping in and hanging around. It's nice to chill and just have a chat with you. Francis is streaming. I bet he's probably got about 10,000 followers watching at this stage. Fair play to him. See, he's consistent, and he's also got the gear, and he doesn't have the. He does have more of a technological aptitude for all this kind of stuff. It's definitely he always was a bedroom dweller and enjoyed his own company, whereas I was always out on the source, fucking living life, having the crack, sorting to the goals, all that. You know what I mean? As Danny Dyer would say, shoot with bolt. Was Gunny watch absolutely frazzled the next day? What was this, lads? Oh, the stateside one. Yeah, that was good, man. That was good. I'm gonna eventually, if I get time, I'm gonna have to edit them in the studio just to cut them down so I just get the best bits of each stream. I think that's the key, but it's just getting the time to do it. When I say getting the time to do it, I probably do have the time to do it, but I get stuck in fucking Twitter holes, YouTube holes, fucking doing the dishes, tidying up, kids to bed, laundry, all that kind of shit, man. Just generally things I have to do during the day. Did Owen need much convincing to shoot that scene? If it was his idea, he should do porn. I don't know. I can't really remember. I think he was up for it. Like there was the scene where obviously he comes out with his flute stuck into one of those fleshlights in a can, and then at the end, I think he just came up and did it. He was like, "Fuck it, I'll do it for the shock value." The stream was funny. Edit the bad words. Yeah, I mean it's just towards the end. I was like, he let himself down when he was just dropping the R bomb all the time. But when I was talking to him about James Corden, he's like, "Oh yeah, I know the guy you're talking about now. I know I'm gonna kill him, Morton." A classic line. TQ, man, it's really becoming a. I mean, I could probably ring him now, but again, there's no guarantee that it won't go into private mode because he's you know what, I like someone who can. I've got to watch what I say. Do you know what I mean? I'm a public figure, and you say the wrong thing, and you've got some arseholes out to try and do you. Whereas for Tommy Miller, man, he just lives in Ballysadair or Banada, and he just doesn't give a fuck, man. He'll speak his mind, and that's a beautiful thing in this day and age. Like it would be just to be able to have like no filter and to be able to just speak exactly what you'd like to say. I used to be like that before fucking TV, man. Like we'd be sitting around gaffs in Galway smoking joints and watching shit on TV, and I just start slagging stuff off. And I remember fucking Tord off was always the quiet one, like. But then I come out with something so outrageous that everyone would be sitting there in silence, and I drop some outrageous comment, and Chris would just go break the silence. But I was talking a few years ago when we were kids, or like teenagers growing up. Used to hang out with these two lads called. I won't use their real names. Let's just call them Grandpa Munster and Banana Man. And they were two brothers, right? But their mum was really, she was very strict. We say that word, and every Sunday they would go away. Like they weren't allowed out on a Sunday, and they were always like, "We have to go to our grannies." So one day, a few of us, me, Tordoff, Brian Turbot. Now Brian Turbot is the lad. If you've watched the Christmas special of Hardy Books or the Safe Pass, he's the lad sitting beside me, or he's like, you wouldn't fucking build shite, or is that go 400 miles an hour? That will built by Polish men in the Missy Turbo Cup, and the other lad he goes, would not. And he goes, show me those hands. Those hands are shite. That's Brian. Brian's a funny fucker, man. He was so me, him, Tordov, and Kinsler were stood outside the lad's house, and they had this doorbell which you'd ring it, it'd buzz. So we were thinking, well, the lad's on in, neither is their parents, like, so we'll just ring their doorbell non-stop and just see what happens if we constantly ring it. So like we'd stand there just chatting for about like 10 minutes with our finger on the bell, and then we do a relay where we do this and just take the finger off. So we were doing this for about half an hour, so the bell didn't stop ringing constantly. And their mother fucking opens the door. She's like, what are you doing? And I remember nearly fucking jumping out my skin when she turned up to the door. But there was another time we were all sitting around watching You've Been Framed, which is, for anyone outside of the UK or Ireland, it's like a compilation of people sending in their home videos, and you get like £250 per video if they use it. And they were saying, send in your tapes, and if we show it, you'll give you £250. And I remember saying, I know what I'd do with that money. And the mother said, what would you do with that money, Martin? I said, I'd go straight down to the red light district. And she goes, what did you just say? And I went, I said, I'd go straight down to the red light district. And she goes, would you say that in front of your own mother? And I was like, yeah, I'd say way worse. But for my own mother's integrity's sake, I was like, no, I wouldn't. If you wouldn't say it in front of your own mother, then why would you say it in front of me? I was like, yeah, sorry about that. But oh man, there was another time where we went to Slane, and we were like 18. We thought we were a class going to see fucking U2, Coldplay, and the Chili Peppers. And there was this lad selling these really shitty 80s sunglasses. And I picked a pair up, and I was like, oh, they're just like Bono's glasses. And he goes, oh yeah, those purple ones, they went up from €3.50 to €5, just like this, as soon as I said it. So we'd all bought these glasses thinking they looked like the ones Bono had, and turns out they were just like some fucking shitty early 90s cyber glasses. Oh, Mike, mate, thank you very much for the super chat there, mate. I appreciate that. So after that, then there was a lad doing the Find the Lady card trick, and the mate Brian goes up. I know one of the lads, Grandpa Munster, goes up, and he goes picks. You could see that there was lads up at the table going, "No, there you go, sir. £20 for you, sir. Next." And then Grandpa Munster goes up and he goes, "It's this card here." And your man's like, "No." It's a bit like in the Mitzi Turbo Cup. Find the card, 235. So he loses his money, and then Brian goes, "Don't worry, I'll win your money back for you." Brian puts down 20 quid as well on top of that. Just 40 quid vaporized. And this was back when they were only about like 16 at the time. So money was tight back in those days. Yeah, the festival, or the Slane was good crack that year. It was Coldplay and then Chili Peppers. And during it, Grandpa Munster's glasses came off. And we didn't realise they were his glasses. And I remember Tordov goes, "Martin, see those fucking glasses flying in the air?" And I was like, "Yeah, it was hilarious." And then Grandpa Munster was like, my glasses. Fuck me, man. They were good times. They were brilliant days back in the day. Would send you a few bob, but literally spent last €15 on drink. Payday tomorrow. Glad. Oh, mate, these are fucking hard times for us all, man. My fucking whole income has been obliterated by this COVID shite. What are the funny? Oh yeah, there was a time like I was. You might not find this hard to believe, but I was a bit of a fucking mad prick in school. And we used to have a teacher in school called Minnie Hitler, and yeah, you can understand why she got that name. But we had to do this thing in LCVP, which is called the Leaving Cert Vocational Program, and they taught us how to make CVs that turned out to be wrong. And then, yeah, so we were doing that one day, and she goes, "Can you click on 3.5-inch floppy?" And I was like, "Sorry, miss." She goes, "Martin, what is it?" And I went, "I've got a bit of a problem with my computer here." She was like, "What is it?" I said, "Mine says 7.5-inch floppy." She goes, "What did you just say?" I said, Mine says 7.5-inch floppy. Got a big note in my journal, and I was sent down to the study hall where we had. M says my LCVP was fucking mental as well. Yeah, shite. I mean, it did nothing for me outside school. Absolutely nothing. The Leaving Certificate vocational program, but they sent me down to the study hall then, and there was a camera up at the top right corner of the study hall, and the principal, who at that time was Martin Carney, the ex Mayo footballer, who's on the Sunday game, and little did I know, as I was showing off this note that Mini Hitler had given me as a trophy, he was watching from the watching from the camera from his office. So there was an intercom in school, and so the whole school would have got the message. Can Mark Maloney come to my office now? And the lads behind me were like, yeah, good man Maloney. So I went in, and Carney was like, what were you doing, Sean? What were you showing there on that book? And I was like, oh, nothing. I was just showing a note that teacher given me. And so he read about, it was in quotes, 7.5-inch floppy. Got detention for that on Saturday. Didn't turn up. I figured out at an early age that if you just don't go to detention or you don't bring your homework in, after a while they just stop asking. So yeah, I guess that applies for things in life as well. I think the key is to not give a shit. It's like the institutions will try and scare you by giving you a bad name. You're like, fine, I'll just wear that bad name with a badge of honor, and it's up to you whether you feel the stigma from it. And I didn't, and just had a good fucking time, man, and have continued to do so since I left school. Up and down, some good times, bad times, you know yourself. What was it like working on the Republic of Telly? Was it any crack? I quite enjoyed working on the Republic of Telly. I think I could have done a lot more with them, but there was a fair bit of politics going on there. I think people probably didn't want me coming in because I might have detracted from their spotlight a bit. Hon Martin Carney, yeah, that's the one, John. There's another time when I was about 15 or 16. We used to have this thing where you'd, like, if there was a class full of people, you'd walk past and just boot the door open and run. There was one day I was walking past this class and just went, put the door open. I was standing right behind the door. So I was just like stuck like this in a freeze frame in the door, and he goes, Martin, come in here for a second. Come in here. What the hell did you think you're doing, kicking in the door like that? And I was like, oh, I don't know. I accidentally fell into the door. And he's like, no, you didn't. Do you know what, Martin? You're an ignoramus. You're an ignoramus. Go down to the study hall now. So I was like, all right. Didn't bother going there, but I was caught red-handed. Yeah, so did you and Tawada meet in England or Ireland? No, I met him when I was, I think I was about 14 or 15 and he was 11. And a couple of the lads who I was friends with were in the same year as him. And yeah, they were like, this lad's from Leeds. And he was like, all right, Martin. Graham Russell, thanks very much, mate. Graham, you're very generous, and when I see you in real life, I'll be getting the fucking pints in by. Thank you very much. And yeah, he was. We used to go swimming on the bus to Claremorris when we were kids, and it went from being like sensible swimming to the hormones kicking in, and we were just really rowdy teenagers. And we actually got banned from the swimming pool. I don't know why we started doing it, but we thought it'd be funny to just like pull mooners and then show our asses as we were jumping into the pool. And then it just got worse where we were just fucking pulling the shorts down and just flashing and jumping in. So yeah, we got kicked out of there, and I nearly had a scrap with the guy who was running the place. So yeah, we were banned from swimming. Yeah, it was good crack. Did you give Catherine Winnick the shot while filming Vikings? Fucking should have done. Looking back, man, fucking should have done. Yeah, I was introduced to her in the makeup department, and the makeup lady was saying, "Oh, this is Catherine." I hadn't seen any of it really before. I'd seen a couple of episodes, and I was like, "Oh, how's it going, Catherine? Nice to meet you. Yeah, okay, yeah. Good stuff. Yeah." And she was like, "Oh, who do you play?" And I'm like, "Oh, I play V Gritty's. I'm only in it for like an episode or two." And she's like, "Oh, okay, nice to meet you." And it was just like the conversation was over, and then it was like, "Sorry, Martin, I just need to have a word with Catherine." And I was like, Oh, I know how this is. Yeah, all right, yeah. See you around. But good looking girl, no, good looking girl. Apparently, she's a black belt in Taekwondo. Little known fact there for you. You're in good shape, Catherine. I should have said it. Catherine, I'll tell you one thing. Hey, best shape of your life. The best shape of your life. Bailey Francisco, do you watch AEW? I've seen you write that a couple of times. What does it mean, mate? What does it mean? What's the worst Irish company you've worked with? Ooh, been fired from a couple of fucking jobs in my time. Don't really know, man. It'd probably be like smaller jobs when I was a teenager, like working in supermarkets and that kind of thing. I can't really fucking don't know, man. I'll have a little lament over that. It's got to be RTE. Do you know what I have to say? There was some back and forth with RTE in terms of creative elements, but for most part, like especially RT drama, they were actually more understanding than the entertainment company. Like there was a couple of things that they were. See, the thing is, producers have to have some input because it would mean their job was made redundant. But Bailey Francisco and All Elite Wrestling, you mark. It's the greatest wrestling company in America. They're taking off here in stateside. Oh, really? I'll have to look at that. What kind of is it? What is it like? Proper Greco-Roman wrestling kind of stuff, or is it basically the other All Elite Wrestling? They're here to take over WWE. Okay, I'll have a little look at this. I'll have a little look at this. AEW job. All Elite Wrestling news. I'll have a little look at this now. I'll read you the Bailey Francisco touch. AEW fight for the fallen. Okay, let's see. News. Is there some sort of info where a man can go in and have a little look at what's going on here? AEW Dynamite Fight for the Fallen results July 15th, 2020. John Moxley versus Brian Cage. And then there's just some bald dude down in the corner. He's just like this going. He's wearing shades. He must be. I wonder, was Brian Cage. Oh, it's Brian Cage with Taz. I wonder, is he the Tasmanian Devil or. Oh, it's TNT. Oh, basically, oh, fuck. AEW, man. AEW is basically it's WCW rebranded because TNT used to have that back in the day. Oh yeah, Daniel Hertzler. Yeah, you've already written that. Yeah. Are you related to Eugene Maloney? Yeah, he's only my uncle, man. My dad's brother. When are you making your debut in the wrestling? What's the wrestling? Oh, the wrestling. The wrestling. I would have. I always wanted to be a wrestler back in the day, and I probably could have done it for the crack. But I'm getting a bit old now. But if fucking Sheamus gets win, man, I'll do a bit. You can call me something like fucking Tomas or something. Enter the Schnocktagon. What do you think of Tyson fighting a shark, man? I think that'd be fucking a great battle. A shark. You'd have to have like a compromise where it was like the shark was in like three feet of water. Maybe it was like Tyson versus a bull shark, and Tyson gets to wear chainmail. Big sweaty men wrestling. Gustafson's fighting next week at heavyweight. Who's he fighting, man? I haven't been. See, Gustafson. Who's he fighting? The Mauler's making a comeback, is he? He's a big lad, man. He's a absolute shark with lasers. Who's he fighting? Just hearing you talk about AEW as me rock hard. Holy shit, rock hard. Suplex City. He's going. He's going to Dos Santos. Who's your man? The Cuban lad. Masvidal. I like him, man. He seems like I like the cut of his jib. He seems it'd be fucking great to see Masvidal fighting McGregor, man. That'd be a great fight. I'd enjoy that now, so would. I'm actually gonna get Nicholas Beckstrom, who was in All Stars. He was a UFC fighter. Crazy fucker. He's good crack. So I was just talking to him about getting him on the podcast. I used to train the same place as those boys. I haven't done it for 3 years now, nearly since he was training. He's fighting. Was he fighting Verdum? Is he? Shit. It's gonna be a hell of a fight. Tyson has been on the old steroids again. I'd say, hey, fucking no harm, man. But make sure he fucking goes easy on him so he doesn't start growing tits. That wouldn't be good. You got to check out the Mike Tyson Mysteries cartoon. Yeah, it was at Adult Swim or something back in the day. I think he was involved in one of them jobbies. Yeah, let me see. Gustafson, Verdun. That would be a. What are the stats, man? What are the stats? I grabbed his neck in the tie clinch and hit a knee in his face. Fabricio Verdun on Alexander Gustafsson. We'll we'll read this, man. We'll see what the crack is. See what kind of beef is being put out there. Should be a good old fight, that will. The much awaited UFC Fight Island will witness its concluding event with the succession of UFC Fight Night 174, Whitaker versus Till on July 25th. The headlining main middle event thriller has already garnered a lot of attention. Additionally, the heavyweight debut and return of Alexander Gustafsson has also kept the fans amazed. Apparently, when he was fighting against Daniel Cormier, he the doctor said he shouldn't do it anymore because it wasn't good for his brain. Former lightweight contender Alexander the Mauler Gustafsson is going to break retirement and set foot inside the cage. The heavyweight will face former champion Fabricio Verdun on July 25th. Moreover, he has a goal to revive his failing MMA career. Oh, his falling MMA career. Both Fabrizio Verdun and Alexander Gustafsson are currently on a two-fight losing streak, and the duo is set to collide against each other to notch a desperate win in the respective pro MMA records. However, Fabricio Verdun has appeared confident about vanquishing his Swedish rival on July 25th. Verdun stated that he once hit Gustafsson so badly that the Mauler got 5 stitches on his head. Although Alexander Gustafsson hasn't responded to those claims yet, it has definitely intensified their upcoming face-off for the fans. Read more. It's not about the money. George Masvidal rejects Conor McGregor. What? He rejects. What? That can't be. He's not going to fight McGregor. Hold on a second. Let me have a little look at this. Come on. I wish you could see the face on this lad. I'll put this into the chat, man. You got to have a little look at. It's like a picture the Viper would do. Click on this. Check out the picture of Masvidal. He's like this. Yeah. Any hash? Mihailin Fairley. How you doing, man? I'll think drama them, man. I was gonna visit Tyson Ranch next time and make it down to the lower 48 states. You fucking should do. Catskill Mountains job. When you mention wrestling, it reminds me of Buzz humping the mannequin after taking the booze funny stuff, the Himby bark. Nicholas, the guy, got sparked by some English dude UFC. What happened to him? Ever train with Makwan? Yeah, Makwan was. I'll tell you a funny story about Makwan. He was training in the in All Stars, and we were in the dressing room, and accidentally looked at his flute, and I was like, oh shit. And then every time I'd see him in the change room, I was like, oh no, what if he thinks I'm always going to look at his flute? So it was just one of those like OCD things where I was like, don't look at his flute. And then when he left, then I was like, oh, thank God he's gone. Kanye West has gone for president. Tyson is fighting the shark. If humanity was a TV series, it's definitely jumped the shark. Is it? I thought it was a fucking joke, man. Is that for real? He's gonna fight the shark. Get the fuck out of here. Tyson versus a shark. It's fucking real, man. Ah, that's brilliant. All right, it's for it's part of Shark Week. I mean, like, how many Shark Weeks has there been? I mean, like, you can tell Discovery's kind of running out of footage. It's like the time Phelps was supposed to race a great white shark in a swimming pool, but it was just basically a simulation of the two of them. So it was Mike Tyson to fight a great white shark as part of a Shark Week for the Discovery. Tyson versus Shark. Rumble on the Reef. Mike Tyson is officially making a return to fighting, although it is not against a foe fans would have expected the former heavyweight champion to face. I mean, like, how's this gonna? Oh fuck me, man! I've got to put this up as well. You got to see this to believe it. You got to see it to Adam and Eve it, man. Lauren says, having a scrap with a giraffe next. Let me see. It was a tough situation. Fallon is the new Tyson. Don't you fucking forget it, Fallon. Did you ever have the pleasure of meeting Mayo Mick, the guy who stormed the field? Funny you say that, Sean. Um, when we were talking to Elveries, we were supposed to get him. Was it the Mayo? The Mayo was it Mick the Bull? They call him. That was brilliant. That when he came onto the pitch during that Kerry game. I can't remember that. Kerry won that by a fucking like half a point. I remember, if I remember rightly, it was down in Limerick they played that game. Peter's gonna have a field day with this one. Yeah. Thanks, Andy Hurts. How many times have you been arrested and why? I've been arrested 3 times. The first two was when I was 21 for nicking sandwiches when I was fucking blazed. Once in Sweden, once in Ireland, and the third time was for fighting bouncers. So they're fucking not too bad. Not too bad. Let me see. Yeah, I'll continue reading about the shark. The 54-year-old will compete against the apex predator as part of Tyson versus Jaws. Rumble on the Reef. Tyson will fight the shark on August 9th as part of the. Tyson will fight the shark on August 9th as part of scientific research, and legendary announcer Michael Buffer is also, that's Bruce's brother, is also set to be part of the event. With the framed ring announcer Michael Buffer calling the shots, these two heavyweights will square off underwater when Mike Tyson will try to score a TKO over the massive shark, all in the name of research, Discovery describes. Although the specifics of the bout have not yet been confirmed, Tyson said he took on this challenge to overcome his fears of making a comeback. And there's a picture of like the great white just coming out of the water. I equate this with overcoming my fear of getting back into the ring at 54 years old, he explained. I learned a lot from this experience of doing Shark Week. For whatever that intimidates me, I'm still able to step up to the challenge of overcoming anything that would prevent me from accomplishing my life mission of reaching my highest potential in life and bringing me closer to God. I suppose he does have a point. If you were to fight a fully grown great white shark underwater, you'd be. I think you couldn't get any closer to God, man. Story with the bouncers. Fucking reading the papers, man. I can't be fucked up about that shite again. Long story short, uh, in a rowdy fucking student club one night in the big tree, some bouncers were being a bit heavy-handed with the clients, and then they decided to be heavy-handed with me, and some exchanges were thrown, and I got arrested and then charged. And some of the fucking one guy who was I'll fucking say his name, man. The fucker Mark O'Shaughnessy, his name is. claimed that I kicked him in the teeth as I was opening as he was opening a door. He wasn't even in the theatre of conflict, but he was happy enough to try and get me served with a very serious GBH charge. I could have countersued and definitely done him for perjury and perverting the course of justice. But I just thought, fuck it, man. I was happy enough it was over, to be honest with you. But yeah, Marco Shaughnessy. Won't be forgetting that name. Look him up. Some fucking tit from Tala. I was never into Shark Week. I don't know how much more, says Daniel Herzer, we can learn about a shark. We certainly don't need 6 weeks to do it. Hell, I could learn how to rebuild transmission in 6 weeks. I probably could myself, but I mean, like, what more is there to know? That sharks are, you know, not as bad as people would like them to be, but I'll give you a bit of shark trivia. I think the most dangerous sharks when it comes to humans are the bull shark, because the bull shark can swim in very low. A bull shark can survive in fresh water and salt water, which means it can swim all the way up an estuary, like fucking hundreds of miles inland. So bull sharks can also attack you in about 2 to 3 feet of water as well. Sharks are class, says Kevin E. Murphy. Great whites, you're pretty good unless you're a surfer and you're surfing nearby, like somewhere where sea lions are living. Because the way a shark looks at a surfer, basically you've got your legs and your arms out, and from the bottom looking up at that silhouette, it looks like a big fat sea lion. I watched there's a thing called I Shouldn't Be Alive Now, which I remember watching years ago, which is basically the story of this yacht called the Trash Man that belonged to a guy who made his fortune in the waste disposal management uh, industry. And you had this crew of 5, and they took the idea was they're going to take this yacht from Maine to Florida. And as they did, this massive storm kicked up. And one of the girls, who was a girlfriend of one of the fellas on the boat, had fallen on deck and had internal. I think she'd injured or ruptured her kidneys or something just before they fell into the water. And basically, they were, I think they were on like 60 feet waves, and then they were just being dropped down the side of it. And eventually, they lost power. The radio, the Coast Guard, but the Coast Guard didn't respond, and the windows were smashed in. It took water on, and they sank. But as they were going into the water, they managed to take the raft. But there was a capsule that had everything they needed for survival. It had a beacon. It had things to turn salt water into fresh water. It had food. Had all these things. And your man lost the capsule in the middle of the night in this rough sea. So for the first, I think for the first night, it was freezing cold, and they were at risk of getting hypothermia. And they're all hanging on to this upside down raft, and they're all getting a bit pissed off with each other. So they were cold, so they thought the best thing for them was to duck under and hang on under the boat. But the girl who got injured didn't want to do that, and she was, in risk of getting hypothermia. So the main skipper, her name was Deborah Kelly, I think her name was. She suggested they tried to flip the boat over, but before they did that, she thought this other guy Mark kept kicking her in the leg, and she said that she put her head on. She was like, "Stop kicking me!" He was like, "I'm not kicking you," and she just thought he was being a bit of a dick. But then when she put her head under the water to catch him doing it, she noticed that there was just a whole load of sharks just swimming around underneath the boat. So when she shouted sharks, everyone flipped the raft and they climbed in. So they were basically stuck, being followed by all these sharks because this girl's leg was infected, it was bleeding, and they were. And another thing about sharks, a shark can smell one drop of blood in an Olympic-sized swimming pool. That's how sensitive their receptors are to blood in the water. So all the sharks from all around had basically converged under this life raft. So I mean, it got pretty fucked up, man, because there was like 5 of them on it. One of them was really badly injured. They had no fresh water, and then 2 of the lads apparently started drinking salt water. Because the first time I watched this documentary, I was like, was there some sort of foul play on the boat? And because there was only two survivors at the end of it, and I was like, well, that could have been anyone's guess. But the second time I watched it, I was like, fair enough. You're at sea for 7 days, and I think it was 6 days they were at sea with no water or food, just being baked by the sun. And two of the lads ended up drinking salt water, and then one of them was just like, I'm just going to go and get my car. And they're like, and they kept saying this over and over again. Oh, I'm going to go down to 7-Eleven, get some cigarettes, to the point where it was just so repetitive. Probably a bit like being at a house party and someone's on chats, and you're just like, oh, please stop talking about that shit. So your man just jumps in and gets eaten by a shark. And then later on, or apparently the other English lad jumped in and you could actually hear him being eaten under the boat. And then the sharks got a taste of it and just kept like ramming the boat, trying to flip it over. And then the girl died in the boat, and it was just full of like piss and pus and old blood. And she ended up wigging out, and she died, and then they had to strip her of all her jewelry and clothing and then just throw her overboard. But then eventually a Russian merchant ship came and saved the two of them. But yeah, that was a bad way to go, man. So I watched that. Actually, I'll put the link to that up because it's a good documentary. Let me see. If you're looking for something to watch after this. But it's made with that classic fucking American, just loads of cuts to make it seem more exciting. But it's still an interesting story. Let me see. It's on YouTube as well. So here. Yeah, check that out afterwards. It was it was quite interesting. I remember watching it 15 years ago thinking, it was good. Wrong'uns. Let's all check your comments here. Bad cunts out in the ocean, hey. Johnny Gilling knows well the crack. Johnny Gilling. The old laptop is going fucking only 5%, by only 5%. I had half my ass tore off because I sat down on an escalator one time and the loose skin got sucked up. Bad old doing. Had a buddy who was a bouncer, big son of a bitch, soft as a hot gummy bear. He was a sweetheart, didn't have an aggressive bone in his body, but he did the gig till he died of issues unrelated to bouncing. Do you know what? Like, a lot of bouncers are fucking. I was at this festival last year and I was driving these golf buggies around. Soft old job. And I had to give these bouncers a lift. And anyone that was being kicked out of the festival, like the security guards really make an example of them. So like someone was like, I mean, this is the kind of crack you get at a Swedish festival. If you're having too much fun, you're kicked out. And they would like have two bouncers holding these lads like in some sort of fucking arm lock at each side, bringing them out like they were on a cross. And I had to give these bouncers a lift, and they were sound with me, but they were all like, they were saying, "Yeah, kick his fucking ass." And I was just like, this is the mindset of these guys who work on the door of clubs. But then when you get really sound bouncers, I remember I was up in Belfast, and there's a place called Kelly's Cellar. I think your man's name was Noel. He was a bouncer who worked up there, but he couldn't have been nicer. Looked hard as fuck, and he probably was. I mean, to be a bouncer up in Belfast, you'd want to be fucking hard, hey. And he was an example of a really nice bouncer. You know, you don't have to be. I was talking to a friend of mine, Aaron Kennedy, who was a bouncer here as well, and he was in Bama. He was doing a couple of. He was training All Stars as well, and he did a couple of pro MMA fights. And I said to him, "Well, how do you get on with?" Because he's a sound guy, like, you know what I mean. He wouldn't be starting fights or anything. But I said, how do you maintain the professional decorum without getting into violence? And he says you just got to be assertive. And I think to be assertive is a great trait to have. I'm just going to plug this in. Oh. Now we're at full power again. What time of night are we on now? 1:45. I gotta be up in the morning, boy. Gotta be up in the morning. To be fair, they get a load of shit. I give them props. Yeah, I mean, it's number one rule: never argue with a bouncer. Especially in Sweden, there's a story about Bas Rutten when he got arrested here for fighting bouncers. They just picked him. They just picked him out because of who he was, and he did it. He was about to do some fucking damage, and then he got arrested. I think he spent like a week in jail over here. Better doing. Swayze Express. Watched a decent bit of that shouldn't be alive stuff in lockdown. One man lost in the forest, ate his dog. Whole thing's. Oh man, yeah, that's. I remember hearing a story about some fella who was maybe it was the same story, but I remember he was like he was one day away from being rescued and he had to eat his dog. Poor old bastard. Sure, I remember hearing about Amundsen and Scott's race to the South Pole, and apparently Amundsen did it before, and they brought dogs, and they were. Oh no, it wasn't Amundsen. Scott did it before with dogs, and he said they ended up having to eat the dogs. And he said he'd never do it again. So that's why they. Actually, that was a really good documentary back in 2006 on BBC. They did it was called Race to the Poles, and they had a Norwegian team versus a English team, and they recreated the route. Oh, thanks, Christian. Appreciate that, mate. One up. I like it. They were recreating the distance that Amundsen and Scott had to do across the Antarctic, and they did it with the exact same equipment and food rations that they would have had back in the day. And so they're basically doing the modern day version of it that they're filming, but at the same time they're doing the reconstruction of the original. And there's a guy called Titus Oates who's a big sound lad, but obviously they said in the documentary, like when the rations were running out and they'd missed a supply drop, that your man Oates he just got so tired, and he said like the bigger the engine, the more fuel it needs, and he just walked out the tent one night in the middle of a storm to die. He didn't want to hold everyone else up. So poor old Titus Oates, man, he went out in a bad way. I think that was him. Yeah, loads of people giving him shit because most of the plant life in the forest was edible and all. Yeah, I think I can't say it'd be like me eating malish or quarto. I probably would chance eating. It's like when you look at that film Into the Wild, and it was just like your man was such a fucking spoiled, rich kid who was like, I'm just gonna go off and into Alaska, and he ate. It's just what I watched. It was just a guy who was really ungrateful and with his lot in life, and he was trying to discover himself on like a frontier in a time where the frontier is kind of evaporating. And then he ended up getting stuck because the river flooded in springtime, and he had no food, and he had this potato, but it wasn't a potato. It was like some poisonous thing that meant he couldn't shit, and then he ended up dying because he couldn't eat. So yeah, that was an uplifting story. I watched Bone Tomahawk there the other night. That film is fucking mental. Have you got any good films? Stick them in the chat. Wouldn't mind watching some good movies. Too many kids following suit. Yeah, you're right, man. They had to remove the van. Which van's that? How are you all dealing with Corona out there? Saw videos of McGregor telling everyone to wear masks and glasses. Yeah, I think McGregor was enjoying himself before he did that one. So now he'd probably do a better job than most of the ministers would. Chris McCandless is not usually looked upon as rosely as one might think here in Alaska. Yeah, potato seeds poisoned him. Is that what it was? He's not looked upon too rosely. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Ninja Book. I'm all right, mate. Did they remove? Wait, which bus is this, Michael? American Psycho. That's a great film, man. Yes, sometimes I box drama. Yes. that scene where they're trying to bring the sheets back to the dry cleaners. These are silk sheets. These are designer sheets. He tells the woman he will kill her. You got to see the lighthouse. The lighthouse, actually, that's a good one. I might put that down in the watch list. I actually had an audition for a film by the director who did the lighthouse. Didn't get it though. Did not get him. Films. The lighthouse. Oh, the lighthouse. It's good. You can watch it. Moneyball. Is Moneyball the one with Brad Pitt? Which, or is that the Big Short? Sure, I put the Big Short in as well. I haven't seen that. Debbie Does Dallas. I watched Debbie Does Idaho once here in Sweden when I was 20. Fucking great bit of viewing. Then when I came over here, like on cable, you'd have Canal. They just put on like a hardcore porno at the end of every night, and I was like, wow, this is amazing. After living in Greece for 4 months, the wrestler, yeah, seen that one. He did the final jump. Did he live or die? Don't fucking know, man. If you want to watch some more morbid stuff, check out Grizzly Man Doc. Yeah, funny enough, I remember people talking. Was it Werner Herzog who did that? Yeah, I might watch that. I meant to watch that. The only reason I didn't watch it is because I know he gets done in at the end. I suppose if you lie down with bears, you're gonna get it. Man, your mic is covered. Is it? Magnolia, that's a long out thing, isn't it? I must watch that again because every time I watch that, I got interrupted. I'm gonna put that down as well. Fair play to you, Bailey. I'll look at Normal People if you haven't seen it already. I haven't seen that yet. Love Mayo. Ever go drinking to Kelly? Oh, it's my dad's favourite place to go drinking. Thoughts on Game of Thrones? I watched the first 3 series, and I had an audition for 2 parts of that, which I didn't get. Um, I stopped watching it after everyone else was talking about it, and then you know something's not cool anymore when you're going into like Penny's or Tesco, and it's like buy these Game of Thrones socks. You know, it was just. Mike, you say, can anyone else hear me there? How's my mic doing? All right, comes and goes. Timothy Treadwell. Garage with Pat Short. Yeah, I must watch that as well. It's another one I haven't seen yet. Apparently, Lenny Abramson, he directs Normal People as well. Audio's gone a bit. Why the fuck is the audio gone? Bastards. That's a bit weird. Don't know why, lads. Don't know why. No good now. I'm good now. It's good. Your dad has good taste. Kilkelly is a great little town. Shazzy Max, yeah? Or what was the other one? Look at this lad. Fucking Ringo Starr job. That beetle can fucking fairly fly. Bill Gates is after you. Calm for horses. I might check that bad boy out. I know. Thanks for the tips, lads. We're up to an hour and 10 minutes nearly. So it was just going to be a bit of a fast chat, but I quite enjoyed tonight. I was in good form. The HK, how are you getting on, buddy? You all right? But it's yeah. But to anyone who is on Patreon, there will be some stuff coming up. I have tomorrow now to see. The thing is difficult because the kids are off school for the summer, and if I'm sitting around on the computer, my head gets absolutely done in with them. I was trying to cut the podcast together there yesterday, and it was just like fucking mayhem. And then by the time the evening rolls around, you're absolutely smashed. Oh, Shawnee, thanks very much, mate. Thank you. Trees Lounge, directed and starring Steve Buscemi. Trees Lounge. That's an interesting touch. Trees Lounge. Oh, you're very welcome, Bailey. The Animal Blondetto. Yeah, I want to start watching Sopranos again. Actually, it's I was out last night at the opening of this fancy food court place, and I was talking to the guy who was running it. I used to work with him years ago, and I noticed like it was all these like upmarket Swedes. They were like all really wearing real fresh kind of white suits. It was like fucking Miami Vice there, and there's people going, "Yeah, man, cool. Yeah, wow, cool." And a song would come on, and some guy in a blaze would start fist pumping the air. Yeah, we're like living life in the summer, man. But there was one guy who was sitting on the table with Harry, the lad who the guy who's running the place, and he looked like Phil Leotardo's crew. He was, there's a guy who always smokes cigarettes of this. Yeah, he's like, hey, Tony, Phil wants to talk to you. But he looked a bit like him. But yeah, there's a really funny part of Sopranos where Tony and Carmine Jr. go over to Phil Leotardo's house. And he's like, hey, Phil, come on, let's discuss this as men. He's like, get the fuck out of here now. And it's just a shot of a window. With Nolan Eye, yeah, it's brilliant, man. It's one of my favorite films. Perfume Pants. What fucker said that? Yeah, that was a brilliant. Vincent Curatola. Yeah, he'd be great to get on the podcast, man. He's I reached out to him on Twitter, but hey, Sean, if you could put him, or actually all you guys, if you're maybe I could put you lads to good use. If you could start like just hassling Vincent Curtola. Oh, thanks very much, Bailey. Appreciate that, man. The last $2 I stole from my ma. Had to be done. Jamie J. Carr, fucking Jamie J, man. Jamie J. Carr. Jamie J. Carr. How are you doing, baby boy? Good to hear from you. Man, Phil Leotard, what a horrible character. But that's why he was so good, man. But if you guys start Fikra Milner, fuck me, he's in town, is he? What do you think of The Irishman? I haven't seen it yet. I have to watch it, but sometimes film. I tell you a film I watched recently, which is very good, but kind of goes on a bit too long. And the reason it goes on too long is because it was produced by Baby Cow, so they were basically like, yeah, just make it as long as you like. But 24-hour Party People. Steve Coogan plays Tony Wilson, who was the owner of Factory Records back in the late 80s. So he started off with Joy Division and then went on to which became New Order, and it just then the Happy Mondays and all that kind of stuff. But you should check that out, man. That's a really good film. But I love that scene in Sopranos where Phil Leotardo he's sitting down telling his family where the name Leotardo comes from. He's like, our name, we were called Leonardo, named after Da Vinci, the inventor, the artist. Some fuck at Ellis Island misspelled our name and called us Leotardo, named us after a piece of woman's fucking underwear. Do a stream with Computing Forever, Big Dave Cullen. I could do actually. He's not all skin in fairness to him. Leonardo da Vinci. They made us leotards. It's no Goodfellas, the Irishman. Isn't there a scene where fucking De Niro is supposed to be like beating up some young lads, but he looks like he's made of balsa wood. They're no family. They're a jumped up crew. Sleepers, is that the Stephen King one? Where there's these weird monsters and they're afraid of cats. The Many Saints, Multisanti, like Dicky Multisanti. Apparently, Michael Imperioli and the man who plays Bobby Bacalari, they've started doing a Sopranos watch along podcast. Mark Jobuin, how's it going, man? How are you, San Martino? This may be a stupid question, but is there anywhere your live streams are recorded where I can listen back on them, Patreon or anywhere? That is a very good fucking shout, man. I could take the ones that are too spicy because of stateside and all that, and put those links into the That's a good idea. That's it. Oh, is the podcast bad? The Sopranos one. That's, no. The four boys go away to a child's reformatory in the Sleepers. Oh, I must check that one out. Check. That'll be interesting to check out the comments on that Shark Attack Survivor, the link which I put up earlier on. Sleepers. Oh man, there was a film I seen years ago, man. Me and Pete Cass have a great laugh talking about the. Actually, I wonder if I should ring Pete now. Would he answer? Okay, maybe I will. Maybe I will as a special treat. Bear with me now. See if Pete will answer. Pete in case. He's a good lad, is Pete. He sent me over. He's my daughter's godfather. He sent me over a nice book for her and a nice handwritten letter. You don't get them these days. Yeah, I remember that Sleepers film actually. When they touched up by a priest or something. Kevin Bacon was the priest. No answer from PG. I wonder is Owen around for the touch? Owen Colgan. I'll give him a ring. See how he's getting on. I doubt he'll answer. He's a busy man these days, is Colgan. He's a busy fucking man. Yeah, they were on Rogan. Michael Imperioli looks exactly like my dad, except more grey hair. Shit creeps me out. He also looks a bit like Stephen Kelly as well. Chris won't answer, man. Won't answer. Fuck it. I knew well it'd be a long shot. Owen follows me on Instagram because I called him sexy. Fair play. Let's see, where are we now in the chat? Yeah, it's nice, and you guys as well. You should check out Jamie J's videos as well. He's got old skin. Jamie J, he's got a fucking solid work ethic, man. Solid work ethic. There was Jamie J. Obviously, you're involved in the same production as your man, fucking Davy Riley, the comedian who was the ire of the Twitter storm recently there on a couple of weeks back, where a lot of people were fucking accusing him of all sorts. I don't know the guy, and he kind of looks like the kind of lad who would be the first to fucking jump in on a justice pylon. But yeah, I don't think that was. I don't think Twitter is the place to fucking to air your dirty laundry in public. I think it's like if it's something, I don't know, like this is a fucking hornet's nest they should never have kicked. But if it's as serious as they claim, then maybe they should have made a complaint to the authorities instead of fucking putting it all up on social media. Yeah, no, I never met him once, but he was. I've noticed one thing about. I'm not saying him, but because I don't know the guy, but one thing I've noticed is all these lads who claim to be feminists, the fucking dodgy ones. They're lads who will they'll get behind all these these movements and causes. I call them cuttlefish. Because apparently in the ocean where the fucking cuttlefish lives, it's like a squid. But apparently the males, like the alpha males, will be courting with the females. But then you have some of the beta males will disguise themselves as females and then he'll go down. I'll look after you down here. It'll be grand. Stay away from those bad bastards up at the top. And then they'll, good night, Graham. Then they'll reproduce with them then. So enjoy the Zoom and fume. Well, apparently he's a feminist. Yeah, it doesn't surprise me. The hairline's taking a pounding, man. I'll have to do that covered up. That's better. If you're a guy that claims to be a feminist, you're most likely. Yeah, I'm not going to drop the R bomb, but yeah, especially when you look at some of them, you're like, some of them are pretty fucking creepy dudes, man. You see them on Twitter, and it's like pronouns, he, him. What the fuck is that shit about, man? It's such wank. He, them, his. Like, since when did that fucking become a thing? Like, Flight to the Concords has a funny bit about one of their dads being a staunch feminist, but not at all allowing the mother to be a feminist. I don't do the joke justice whatsoever. Yeah, it's been a while since I watched that. Rick and Morty do a whole episode on that theme. The White Knight Predator. Fair play. Fair play. Yeah, but every male feminist is a cook, dodgy cunt, hitting the nail on the head, Martin. Yeah, it's something that, you know, I was raised working with fucking Irish lads, like Irish men who had like families and kids, and it was hard talk, and they worked hard, and you'd get a bollocking, and you'd fucking soak it up, man. Like when I was, let's say, I'd work with my dad, I'd work with my uncles, my brother-in-law. You just get fucking hazed the whole time. Like, and it sucks when you're on the receiving end of a bollocking. Like, I used to be called ashtray when I was working on my brother-in-law's house by Neil the carpenter. Like, ashtray, pass me the nails there, and roll up a joint, put on some music. But you just suck it up, man. It's you get a thick skin from it, and if you don't have a good comeback, bide your time until the opportunity comes, and then be like, right, I'll get you back with this next line. But you just, nowadays, like, if people could hear the way I was spoken to as a kid growing up, they'd be like, oh my god, that's pure bullying. But it toughens you up for the real world. Twitter cancel culture. Jimmy Jakar says, Twitter cancel culture is a load of bollocks, though. Anyone can make up anything about anyone, and they're believed. What's the point in having a court system? See, that's the thing, man. It used to be trial by media. Now it's trial by anyone. Like, I felt bad for that guy. I don't know the story about it. I just browsed through it. But what I seen was one comment says, I don't, like, when you hear this, I don't know the guy, but I looked him up and I hate him. It's like, if you don't know the guy, you don't know the situation. Yeah, I mean, I look, as I say, I don't know the guy myself, but I just think this whole fucking piling on is just, it's fucking weak, man. And it's easy to do when there's a whole load of people doing it. I mean, that guy could have went off and fucking killed himself. Do you know what I mean? And, like, if you're in the eye of like, I've been in the fucking eye of a lot of controversy myself, and when it's happening to you, it's fucking shit, man. Like, the time I got arrested, and it was all over the fucking, it was all in the papers, it was on the radio, and it was on the local radio, and people are talking about it. You go into a supermarket, and you know that everyone knows what's been spoken about, and it's like, oh yeah, I suppose you read the paper. Oh no, I didn't hear anything. It's like, right. But yeah, the thing is, it's Stand by Eminem is the greatest song ever made. I wouldn't go that far now, Bailey. But interesting all the same. When we were coming up, anything and everything was gay. Had absolutely nothing to do with the butt stuff or scissoring. If your feelings are hurt, it's your problem. You'll never stop people from trying to hurt them. This culture of coddling is so fucking dangerous. Crushed. It is dangerous, man, because if you're coddled, right? If you're coddled and you go out into a place where you're suddenly faced with people who do not give a fuck about pleasantries and being cordial, you're in for a rude awakening. I mean, if you go around, if like you just walk around New York City, like the way New Yorkers talk to each other, it's like beep beep, hey, I'm walking here. Go fuck your mother. Do you know what I mean? It's just like Brooklyn and New York, man. I lived in Brooklyn. It's like it's another place where no one's got time for that shit. You know, and that's the thing about when I go back to Mayo as well. It's a nice place where people can talk openly and they're not worried about what people think of them because they're not using the correct pseudo intellectual terminology. And I'll fucking rally against it, man. I don't give a fuck at this stage. It's like these little dickheads who are going around canceling people and you know raking up shit from the past just to try and add it to their CV. I mean, like there's another thing you see. Like if someone gets kicked off Twitter, they're like, "I got them kicked off." Your man from Cumtown, Nick Mullen, apparently he got banned from Twitter. He's like, "Great, you get kicked off Twitter for being ironic." Ever climb Crow Patrick barefoot? Did I fuck, Sean? Did I fuck? The comedy scene in Ireland is full of jealousy and backbiting. I can't believe that you make it to the top. People can't wait you till you fucks up so you can try and drag you down. I don't know what it is. Jamie, that is why I never had any time for the Irish comedy scene, and neither did Tordoff. Or I think Owen kind of made a foray into it, but I stay away. It's mostly shit, man. Um, it's like it's just mostly fucking people lecturing you over shit that they've rehashed from other people, and it's a weird clique of insecure people, and definitely the jealousy and the backbiting is part of it. It's a little clique of people who all know each other. They're all shagging each other. They're all. Um, I mean, look, this is not like the people who I'd hang out with are sound. You know what I mean? They don't. They've carved their own careers, but like just from stories I've heard from other people, it's a very incestuous and small pool of people that a lot of them aren't fucking very funny, but they think they're great. Answer: if you believe in God, do you penetration in your anus? Jesus, that's a heavy one. Is it worth trying to find work in media, in your opinion? I live in Britain, by the way. You know what? If you can land a sweet job as a producer, I mean, like advertising, it's fucking soul destroying, but the money's good. So if you can ride that out for a bit, I mean, like you get one day what a construction worker would get in a week. So if you're good at what you do, whether it's editing or production is basically organization with a knowledge of the industry. And look, to be quite honest with you, if you land a job as a producer and someone goes, "Oh, we need a B-roll photographer, we need this," you just fucking Google what it is. You look through your list of contacts, or you find someone through the people you're working with who know people. It's like That's one of the elements of just being a straight up without the artistic side of things, and you make good money at that. But like over here in Stockholm, it's very clicky. There's a there's a very I think people go to college together and they work together in cliques. It's very very tough business to break. To be honest with you, I haven't done a comedy gig in Ireland in a few years. Best stuff is online. Yeah, I mean, look, you know the funny thing is about Ireland, you'll find people who are genuinely some of the funniest people you've ever met in your life that would have never considered going down the road of professional comedy. And a lot of the comedians who do make it are basically people who do their homework, and their jokes aren't, their jokes are quite vanilla. And it's just people who have a good work ethic, or they know how. It's a bit like Bob Dylan back in, apparently, according to Pete Cassidy, said the Clancy brothers were hanging out in Greenwich Village back in the early '60s. And they're like, this fucking weird lad, Bob Dylan, man, this weird lad. He always be coming around and copying your music and stuff. So they're always like, can you fuck off, man? Leave us alone. Lads like that who they come in, they watch what's going on, they make notes, and they put the time in. I like Jim Jeffries, but I like guns more. um, I feel like every local comedian community is a bunch of crabs in a barrel. Yeah, that's the old the crab theory, where they if you put a load of crabs in a bucket, they'll just pull any crab that tries to escape. That's why they don't put a lid on a bucket full of crabs, because they'll just pull you back in. So yeah, it's I don't know what it is about small like comedians who haven't made it outside where they're based. They tend to be quite bitter. I don't know what the fuck is. I don't that's what I've observed anyway. Weird clicks trying to keep everyone down. Ever go on the sesh in Maynooth? It's my fucking stomping ground. Maynooth, man. I wish I'd gone there when I was a young fella. Fuck me, it's a great spot. The Black Fighter. Have you ever rode a woman twice your age? Yeah. Back in the day, though. God knows how old she is now, hey. Maynooth is a shithole. I wouldn't go that far. Or is it? Crushed. I've been listening to the old Opie and Anthony shows recently. Jim Norton, Bill Burr, Patrice O'Neill, and them. Fuck me, if any of those modern SJW types heard the likes of them, they go mental. Oh man, they were with Opie and Anthony. There was a time when your man Tucker Max, the pickup artist who's in the game, came on to, I think it was Opie and Anthony, and he was telling a story about how he was having sex with a girl or something, and she crapped on the bed, and his mate was filming it in a fucking cupboard. I can't remember what the story was, but they were like, "Nah, that's bullshit, man. Like, you lost the tape of all this shit." Yeah, and he said like he puked on his mate. I can't remember what the fuck the story was, but they basically, I'll find it, man. It's just you'll have to watch this because they just ripped the piss out of Tucker Max relentlessly. So. Tucker Max interview and bashing.
I kept trying to convince this girl, and she wouldn't. She's like, "No, I don't know." And so I finally convinced her. I'm like, "Look, it's like she wanted to be a runway model. That's why she was living in South Beach. I was in Florida at the time." And I'm like, it's what all the models do, blah blah blah. And so I finally convinced her by convincing her that like it was like the European way to have sex. This is like the level of intelligence of this girl. And so anyway, but she's like, you have to take me to a nice dinner, and it's got to be like a production. So I take her out, and we go to some restaurant, Tantra, actually, and I spent like $400 on this girl on dinner, and 2 like good bottles of wine and whatever. So she's told, a little bit's good, so I'm all over her ass.
Oh, here we go.
I kind of like, I come out and I like, hit her butt or something. So I go down to put myself back in, and all of a sudden I feel this like warm splash on my hand. I'm like, what? The lights are kind of low, so I look down, and it's like kind of dark, and I'm like, wait a minute. And then the smell hits me. She shit all over my dick. And it wasn't just like poop. It was like watery diarrhea fucking mix of like diarrhea and Astroglide. And so like the smell hits me, and it was like, oh my, and then of course I realized she shit on my dick, and then combine that with like the seafood and the 2 bottles of wine, and I blew all over her ass. Like in her asshole, everywhere. And so I'm throwing up, and she's like kind of hammered, so she like turns and she's like, Tucker, what are you doing? She sees me throwing up. She's like, oh my God! She starts throwing up everywhere. So I'm seeing her throwing up, and it's making me throw up. I'm throwing up more. All of a sudden, true fucking story, my fucking buddy falls out of the closet. And he's like, oh my God, because he saw us and smelled it. I mean, you can imagine the smell. It's like seafood and wine and Astroglide and shit. And he fucking is throwing up everywhere. So like there's like a 3-second period where all 3 of us are staring at each other, vomiting everywhere.
That video would be like...
Yeah, I know. You have no idea how upset I am. I don't have that. I know. And so anyway, so she like, of course freaks. Oh, I thought you loved me. I can't believe you did this. Throws, the sheet, like wraps the shit and Astroglide stained sheet around her.
runs out of my apartment, like leaves her clothes, everything. 2002. Yeah, like
Right,
it was.
here we go. This is where he starts to. This is where the narrative unravels a bit, and you can hear he gets on.
Funny, I sent none of these exact stories, but basically these stories, I sent them out to publishers and magazines like 4 years ago. And I mean, dude, I could not have gotten turned down any harder. If I had been a hunchback at Playboy Mansion, I would have gotten more action. Every single person told me it was shit. So I'm like, whatever. I put up a website.
But we weren't smart enough to write down our stories back in the day. Yeah, fucking you're out, you're getting blown, all of a sudden you're like, hey.
You know, like the little tape itself broke. Of course, like the magnet, you know, it's magnetized. So we could have easily gone and changed it. But it's like, I didn't think, you know, it's like, remember you said you don't write down your stories at 20. I didn't write this stuff down at 21. I started writing it down at 27, you know? And so I just didn't think about like, oh, we should save this tape. The tape was broke. I was like, fuck it, just whatever. You know, it didn't occur to me that like I was going to ever do any of this shit, you know? If I had known I was going to become a writer, motherfucker, I would have, you know, gone through hell and high water to say that thing. Are you kidding? Yeah, I mean, you know how much money I've cost myself? I could have charged $10 a person, and I was in a frat. Me and the boys would have figured out how to save that tape. Let's be honest. We would have figured something out.
Hell yeah, man! If somebody fucked me in the ass and threw up on me, I would want that tape saved. I mean,
car in there, and I ended up jumping the curb and like running the back of the car into a donut shop.
I'm like, fuck, I'm not getting laid. I don't know anybody in Colorado, and I went to a Christmas party.
Let's see.
All right, let's go to Kyle in Michigan. Kyle.
Yeah.
Hey,
boys.
Hey, Ken.
The Lucky Louie star Jim Norton.
Hi, Kyle. I stand around with their hogs in his face and you take a picture. It's kind of gay, but it's more funny. It's kind of funny with Brian's gay.
Yeah,
when he wakes up and sucks them all, then it becomes.
One of my buddies is gay. He thinks that it was actually a post-op transsexual. No, they're all right. Let me think.
Let me get to
Travis the trucker. Travis
Can't appreciate it.
When did you lose your virginity?
Is it me?
No, wait.
Check.
Over here.
They're plugging in your other headphones. So.
Oh yeah. So basically, they start messing about with his headsets, and then they start calling him a lying son of a bitch and all this.
Are we on the air the whole time?
What?
Is this on the air the whole time?
It's unbelievable.
Yeah, we're on. Unbelievable. Get those headphones in, man. All right, there you go. Cool. Will that work? All right, so the name of the book is I Hope They Serve Beer in Hell by Tucker Max, right?
Yeah.
Did Steve call in? Steve's out there. Well, we got a bunch of people. The fucking phones are lit up. Even more than...
I know. Phones are going crazy. Let's... Jimmy.
Oh.
Don.
The book's called I Hope They Serve Beer in Hell.
Don.
And it's on Amazon.com as well, right?
Mm-hmm. Barnes & Noble, Borders, anywhere.
There you go. New York Times bestseller. Highly entertaining and thoroughly reprehensible. Thank you, Tucker.
No problem. Thanks, you guys, for having me.
No problem, man. Hope you sell a lot of books.
Where do you live? You in New York?
Yeah.
Cool.
In New Yorker?
So awkward.
Originally? Or
No. I just moved here like 6 months ago.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Whole new crop.
Yeah,
Whole new crop of girls. Bitches.
Will there be a follow-up?
Yeah. It's called Assholes Finish First.
How do you? Yeah, that's gonna be hard to get. In. How are you gonna promote that?
The book?
It'll be like, A asterisk.
How you guys doing?
Good.
Hold on, I just want to see where.
How do you get on the bestseller list? Thank you, sir.
Tucker.
Oh yeah, this is where he's leaving. Hold on.
All right. From what band?
That band.
Oh, my phone's a
Ministry.
I can't hear anything.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Yeah, don't steal that one. That's a good one. All right. Thank you, Tucker Mac.
Tucker, thanks, man.
Thanks, man.
I Hope They Serve Beer in Hell is the New York Times bestseller. Man, how do you get on the bestseller list?
Jim Norton is looking at him as he's leaving.
Thanks.
All right.
Right, this is where the bashing starts now. He threw the book at him.
Oh my god. Shit. I'm looking at the.
Yeah, me too.
Oh boy.
What?
Lick out beast. If you made another series of Hardy Books, would you recast
the door through the Peltalk camera because I didn't want to look at it live.
Why don't you go grab one of the cell
because
phones?
he saw
Calling from out there.
You saw the book fly against the window.
Tell him to call from out there. Get him on the phone from out there before you say.
Oh, is that uncomfortable?
Wait.
It's a little late.
You know what? I mean,
That's the Opie
God
and
bless
Anthony
him,
one there
but,
in the chat.
I mean, he doesn't have the videotape of one of the most amazing stories, if it's true. The kid fell out. What happened? He fell out onto the tape.
Yeah, but it was just
I didn't hear what happened to the tape. What happened? Because that would be something you would want.
About it was, it was the old days where it was the big,
the clunky VHS.
the guy fell out while he was vomiting, and
And it broke the tape.
Yeah, then Monty Python stole it and made a sketch out of it. Really.
Yeah, so some fat lads started then tearing up Tucker Max's book. Actually, funny enough, I forgot to mention, Justin, my old friend in America, the crazy one, he had an online beef with Tucker Max back in the day this would have happened while I was in New York at the same time. And Justin had a beef with his followers, and he turned up with a camera, like a $5,000 Panasonic camera, and he got into a fight trying to get into a scrap with Tucker Max, and he ended up getting beaten up, and they stole his $5,000 camera off him. And then he was covered in blood and took a picture of himself completely covered in his own blood. And then a few years later, sent that to Trump's daughter. And then he ended up in Jurassic Park for a while. So he's I must check and see how he's doing. He was out again, and he was in a kind of a rehabilitation place after being in Thug Mansion for a bit. But that'd be someone interesting to get on the podcast at some stage. God bless him. Is right, Shawneen. Put Tommy Miller in an Iron Man suit. Look how beast, man. That's I should get you fucking writing a few episodes, man. And I just want to get back to Celtic Warrior, to cousin Sean and Sarah. Hello again. Just to give you the shout out there. Thank you very much for the super chat. It's very kind of you. But yeah. So it's been an hour and 42 minutes, man. It's always the way. It's like, I'll just do a quick video. Fucking 2:30 here in Sweden. But you'll have that then when the crack is good. So that last one there is the link to the Opie and Anthony with Tucker Max. If you want to check that out, that's basically it's all right, But it was interesting how much they took the piss out of him. And don't forget, there's the other video which I'll put another link up if you're bored and you want to watch something mental. It'd be interesting to know your opinion, because fucking people stuck in a boat for like 5 days. I always thought that it was the captain and one of the lads who fucking bumped a few people off, but you can see in her face that is genuine, So, but it's still a very interesting story. It's I suppose the moral of that story is don't go out in a fucking boat in hurricane season. I skipped like 3 other streams to stay around here with you all, and it was worth every minute. Thanks very much, Daniel. I appreciate that, mate. You're always welcome. What time is it now in Alaska? Must be about 4 o'clock, is it, in the afternoon? But I was actually, years ago, I really wanted to climb Mount McKinley or Denali. I still might fucking do that one day for the crack. I remember we're filming series 2 of Hardy Books, and there's an Irish guy from Limerick, and it was in the paper that he died on Everest and they couldn't bring his body back. And I remember just like starting to read about what is it that keeps people 4:30. Yeah, fair play to me. I knew that time zone. But am I an early riser? I've probably got to be up in about 6 hours time. 6:29 in Colorado. It's 4:20 somewhere, right? But yeah, I was reading about on Mount Everest how these climbers would go up without oxygen, because it's apparently easy enough if you do it without oxygen, or with oxygen, but if you do it without oxygen, it's a whole different fucking ball game. And you just see all these people from like the 80s and all these different eras, and they're just stuck up there, like the skeletons are just left and if some of them they managed to build like a tomb with stones over them to preserve their integrity. 829 in South Carolina. Jeez, we got. I like the way we got lads, loads of lads in America watching. It's a nice touch. But yeah, so I was like, maybe I might do fucking. You're in Abu Dhabi as well. 1203. Yeah, fair enough. I heard you saying no, Bailey. Hey, but yeah, I was like, maybe I might try and climb Everest for the crack. And then I was talking to some lads who were doing serious mountaineering, and they were like, you should consider doing Denali or McKinley first. And I remember watching a video of like this avalanche at the base camp in Mount McKinley. It's just like a load of people just chilling out, like a little village of mountaineers. Like good crack. It's Gun 30 in Chicago. How's the crack in Chicago, Sean? I might give you a quick bell, Sean, for the crack, and then we'll take that into the final 15 bells, which will round it up to 2 hours. Our colleague got back to me. I said, no worries, lad. Call me tomorrow. Colgan's a good lad. I'll give Shawnee the ring. And we'll see what the crack is in Chicago. Billboards are stateside all over the gaff. The fucking Chicago is just, it's going to be known as Chicago. So,
How you doing, Eddie?
Oh, you Shawnee, man. How's life up in Chicago treating you? Oh, Sean P. Thomas. There he is. There's Sean.
Hey.
How are you doing? How's life, essay?
Yeah, same old shit, different day.
Are you blazing the 40?
What's that?
Are you blazing the 40?
Yeah, we keep a little bit around,
My man. There he is. Sean. You can see him there, but you can also see him there as well. We must get like a little Discord group going for guests of the chat who want to come in and just chat live on the ting. It'll be a nice touch. So, is it all guns blazing in Chicago at the moment?
Yeah, it's I think since the lockdown and then with the protests and whatnot, it's got everybody in a very hyped up state. So, I think ever since all that stuff kicked off, you've been averaging about like 100 shots per weekend, and then maybe 20 die a week. So it's pretty sad stuff.
20 die a week?
Yeah.
It's fucking mental, man.
Yeah. It's, more people than the Rona.
Yeah. Whatever happened to all those tanks that were on the train? Do you remember that years ago? It was like, or a couple of months ago, it was like the movements and the heavy machinery on the railway tracks.
Yeah. A lot of that stuff was, because Chicago is kind of like a big transit point. We're kind of central to everything, so a lot of that stuff went south. I think to the southern states because I think they felt like they probably had more volatility down there. But a lot of that went to the capital. I think everyone saw a lot of that artillery being the heavy equipment. There was some here in Chicago, but not a lot stayed around.
Tell me this: did they get Jeff Goldblum and Bill Pullman and Randy Quaid down for the Independence Day? Will Smith?
No, yeah. That's a weird group of people. Now that you bring that up, Will Smith getting cucked over there. Randy Quaid is he's out there.
Randy Quaid. Did you ever hear this thing about Randy Quaid and the Star Whackers?
Not specifically. But I don't know the details.
Well, apparently, Randy Quaid said himself and his wife were in trouble by the Santa Barbara police. They were trying to kill him, and his law firm were trying to take their estate. And they'd sold the house, but they'd broken back into the house, and then they got arrested for unlawful entry into a property and trespassing. And yeah, some fucking mad stuff, man. I'll see if I got some Randy Quaid Star Whacker stuff. But they reckon Andy Quaid, yeah, they reckon there's some bad cunts in Hollywood outdoing celebrities.
Like the McAfee of Hollywood,
Yeah,
I mean, but which is odd because his brother Dennis Quaid, he's kind of a straight edge kind of guy.
He's a straight shooter. Says here, Randy Quaid running from Star Whackers. That was 9 years ago, man. Fuck me. Time flies, but he claims that Heath Ledger was killed by Star Whackers. And then he grew a big beard. It's funny. He looks a bit like...
Randy Quaid joins us now exclusively from Vancouver, Canada for his first live interview since this all began. Randy, good morning, and thank you for being with us.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
Where to begin? Let's start with the court date this week. Why did you miss it if you and Evie believe strongly that you've done nothing wrong?
Well, I didn't miss the court date. I didn't have to appear. I have other issues up here that prevented me from attending that court date. And to begin with, I mean, I would like to read this. This is from the Santa Barbara Sheriff's Office. And it said that the Quaids are due back in court on October 18th, 2010. However, that is subject to change. Court dates are listed.
Yeah, so you can check that out if you want because, yeah. Tell me this, what's the story with Chicago pizza, man? Is it as good as people say? How is it compared to the New York pizza?
I think much is overrated. I don't know. I mean, the fellow who played your brother in that one episode, he has his own pizza joint, no, in Galway.
Oh yeah, Eugene.
Yeah. How would you compare that pizza to you've been to New York yourself?
It's very different. I think it's he does Napoli style, so it's like wood fire oven. Whereas New York is fucking solid, man. You go in and get a slice, and it's like $1.50 or $2 a slice of pizza. And it's like fucking hell, man. It's solid. But I started making a good. The other day, after I did the podcast with Peter Ganley, I just took look, guys, it's real easy. You want to make your own fucking pizza pies? You just take a pint of water, stick some sugar in it, throw yeast into it, let that fizz away. Get a bunch of flour, stick it into I don't measure it exactly. I just stick it in and then fucking work it until it's a decent enough dough. Roll it out. I usually put the base in first because the oven doesn't get to the same temperature as like an industrial oven or a wood fire oven. But I've been looking at these grills. You can get these outdoor gas grills, and they take pellets and they take gas as well. And they're called Umi. It was a Finnish startup, but they're probably about £200 or £300. We get these ones that stand on the tripod. And you stick it into like a gas barrel. You can lift the fucking barrel all night, man. You know what I mean? And then you stick your pizza in on a paddle. Boom! 1 minute later, you get that kind of nice woody charcoal vibe off it. But you could use one of them if you add all the doughs. Set up a little stand outside one of them. Do you want fresh pizza right here, right now, made in front of you? Boom, boom, boom. Bosh them out. One a minute. Make a nice little few quid out of that, couldn't you? Something about the East Coast water, them old coal wood-fired ovens, it's magical. Yeah, they reckon it's because it's soft water in New York because it's recycled. So, yeah. But what's it, like pizza?
Well, we tend to do it a little differently. Like one of the things, I mean, everyone talks about deep dish and stuffed pizza, but we cut it funny.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever been here. We don't do the pie. It doesn't look like a pie cut.
Yeah.
We everything comes out like a square. And the reason is because way back in the 20s, my grandfather came from Ireland, and the pub owners would use pizza because it was very salty. They would give that shit away.
Yeah.
And to induce you to buy more beer or liquor. So what they did, the reason why Chicago cuts it differently like that is because the bar owners are cheap. They want you to eat the pizza, but they don't want you to eat too much. Just get thirsty and buy some beer.
But that's the thing, man. You go I went into I think it's called like Circus Bar in Manhattan. My friend Pat from Jersey, he was like, "Yo, Martin, I gotta take you to this place, man. You gotta eat these you gotta come here, man. They give you free chicken wings, hot dogs, and all this shit." I'm like, yeah, we're just giving people, but they're giving away the free food because people will go there and they'll buy a drink. And man, fucking buffalo wings, like you can't get that shit here in Sweden. Like good, crispy orange Anchor bar buffalo wings.
Burn your hole on the way out kind of wings.
It fucking wipe their feet on the way out.
Yeah, no, definitely.
But there's some great food in Ireland, man. There's what Eugene's doing in Galway, in Castlebar. There's a place called Rua, which do some quality food, and in Dublin. But man, the prices, like there was a real sweet spot in Ireland where it was about 4 years ago. It was cheap, and it was there was real fine detail put into the making of the food. Baby Francisco says, but it's pizza with buffalo meat pepperoni. Don't know about that. Would not be buffalo.
I would be eating buffalo meat on pizza. How? I mean, what you're talking about?
Nick Alpe says, amen to that. I love slobbering back fat pints. Lovely pints. Sorry about that for cutting you off there, Sean. But
No. I was rambling on and on. Pineapple. I think you were talking last stream about putting pineapple and shit. No.
Yeah, but some people are fucking outraged at the fact people put ham and pineapple on a pizza. It's like, well, how the fuck does that? What's the problem? Like, it's fucking old as the Hawaiian. That's what they call it. It's old school. And people are like, oh, how can you do that? But like, when you watch the fucking Turtles back in the 80s, it's like, we're gonna have a fudge fucking marshmallow pizza. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Actually, you could probably make sweet pizzas as well. You fucking put some caramel on that shit.
Nutella. I think I've seen some like Nutella type pizzas.
Yeah, you can do that as well.
Yeah.
And the sad thing is, all these creeps in Washington have ruined. Like anytime people are talking about pizza, it's like, no, we're not talking about dodgy shit. We're talking about the love of a fucking Italian cuisine. Yeah. So shouldn't have to say that nowadays, but it's just in case any fucking conspiracy dudes out there going, oh, who are these lads? It's like, no, man, I grew up with that shit. First time I ever, after I was hit by a car when I was 12, and everyone was very fortunate that I wasn't done in by the Sierra, but my sister took me out for a meal. I think it was a friend of the family took us out to this place called Captain Tony's Italian Pizzeria. And it was the first sit-down place I'd ever been in and had like a proper pizza with like Parmesan cheese. I'd never had Parmesan before. It wasn't even like the real shit. It was just the powdered stuff you get out of. And I was like, wow, this is amazing, man.
Like stale dry cheese.
Stale dry cheese, but
proper Parmesan.
Yeah, but that was deep pan, man. It came in a pan. But I was thinking about like just taking one of these metal frying pans and just bosh it in under a grill. But my oven's broke as well, so the fucking oven doesn't work. So it's just a grill, so gotta sort that out. Anyone got any fucking ovens on the go? Is there? John Smith loves a good Hawaiian. Fair play. I literally punched my girlfriend's little brother because he said pineapple doesn't belong on pizza. Yeah, I mean, look, it's basically it comes down to taste. Bacon and mushroom, good combo. Fucking
ground beef, or Italian beef.
Well, let me throw a curveball to you, Maz. I made a bolognese and it was like, it was in the fridge for a few days. I was like, we'd eaten it like twice or three times, but it was too much to throw away. And I was like, this is the whole concept of Italian food, because it started off in the Mezzogiorno when the Romans came in and they needed to feed the soldiers wheat. They dug up all of the vegetation like that naturally would have held the soil together. So after a while, when the wheat crop failed, you had desertification because there was nothing to bind the soil with, and it just blew away. So it's arid, yeah. So after that, then in like the regions of the south of southern Italy, they had to make do with what they had. So everything was like leftovers. It's supposed to be like soup. Soup is a great thing if you've got bits left over and you just want to get something, knock it all together, throw it into a pot and make a soup out of it. Same applied to like lasagna or pizza dishes or pies. It was basically a pie that they made flat, stick it in a wood oven, and it was delicious. But it was like, as if you've got a restaurant, it's your best profit margins or pizza or burritos. But yeah, so like I took the leftover bolognese, stuck that on as a base, put the cheese on top of that. Oh, Marone.
Marone. That and a little bit of
Mr. Maloney's talking about Pizzagate. Holy shit. No, I'm not talking about that shit, man. I'm talking about the real fucking Italian cuisine. My oven is fucked over too. Cheap as a building and management keeps buying used appliances. Sons of bitches. Do you all have hard seltzers in Ireland? Apparently these hard seltzers, White Claw, they're now out in Ireland. I've seen someone. Let me just check if this is.
Of all the things to import, why the fuck?
Well, what's it like, man? Is it any good?
I've never had that, but it doesn't even appeal to me to even try.
Yeah, they sell it in Tesco now. Fucking 330ml cans. That's weak shit. That is, man. Extra.ie White Claw hard seltzer set to launch in Ireland, but is it a cynical fad? White Claw, the hard seltzer, became a... fuck off with your cookies, man. Yes, I accept whatever bollocks. Its sales rose 300% due to launch in Ireland Monday, June 1st. The sparkling alcoholic beverage source popularity surged last summer as a younger generation of drinkers picked it as a lighter, more flavorsome alternative to more established drinks. Atlantic Magazine declared it a summer of White Claw after social media was inundated with memes centering on the drink, which is low alcohol and comes in a range of flavors. 4.5, black cherry, natural lime, raspberry. I'd fucking sink a few of them, man. Do you know, if it's dry and it's got a bit of fucking zest to it, I'll bosh a few of them bad boys.
On a hot day.
They got a nice little variety pack there as well. Check that. Hot day, man. But you cannot beat you cannot beat a good pint of fucking Magners or Bulmers. It's bollocks, is it, John? White Claw is only 5% alcohol. Don't understand the seltzers. It was Zima in my day. What's Zima?
Oh, it was a clear beer.
Hold on, I'm gonna do a triple phone call here now. We've got Chris Perez on the line. 1 second. Oh, Chrissy Perez.
Hey, buddy, I'm sorry to call you so late at night.
No worries, man. I'm doing a live stream at the moment.
Oh, are you really?
Yeah, I've got Shawnee. He's in Chicago on the line at the moment, but see if I can merge these two together.
No, you don't have to do that. I was just calling to see if I could call you in the morning, your time.
Yeah, if you call me about 10:30 my time, I should have all of my shit sorted out by then.
Okay, I'll call you then, buddy. Hopefully my phone's working.
All right, baby boy. You can.
Or if you want, send me just a Zoom and I'll drop on that. That'll be way easier for me.
Yeah.
So whenever.
Sweet,
all
man. All right, Chris.
Perfect.
Chat to you soon, mate.
All right, good night, buddy.
All right, mate. Bye-bye. Sorry, lost Sean there. But I'm gonna have to wrap this up soon, guys. Thanks very much for sticking around. You put a Jolly Rancher in and suck up to get the flavor. Ooh, interesting. Natty Light seltzers are 6% and very good. Natty Lights, where are you getting these bad boys from? Fuck that White Claw shite. Stay on the Buckfast. Yeah, it's like when I started drinking Buckfast, it was I think it was €7 a bottle. Now it's up to 15. It's doubled in price. I mean, like just to get people off it so they don't get smashed up and do mad shit. But yeah, man, that guy.
Social engineering there, but to price controls.
Yeah, price controls. So they just kept putting tax levies on Buckfast. Stop the younger generation from buying it.
Huh?
Yeah. And this bullshit in Ireland and England now. You've got this thing called sugar tax where you drink some Fanta and it tastes like aspartame. And you're like, oh, I didn't get diet Fanta. It's like, no, they just stuck sugar and aspartame in it. It's fucking sick shit. We have a place in Anchorage called Po King. Korean wings? That'd be fucking sweet, man. Can you get Buckfast in the States? You can't get it in Canada whatsoever. Yeah, I was seeing if I could get it brought in. You can't get it anywhere here in Sweden, man. Like pubs can't get it in. The System Bollocks, aka System Bolog, it can't get it in either. So it's bad old doing, man. Bad old doing. Hard seltzers take like Sprite, but you get drunk like gin. It's a nice touch. Nice summer's day.
Yeah, but what's that hangover like though?
What,
That's what I'm wondering.
From Buckfast?
Yeah. Is it kind of a rough day afterwards?
It depends, Sean, because it's usually got a warm-up drink drank with friends in an alleyway.
So you're mixing liquor already, so it's already kind of turning out to sound like a bad.
Yeah, actually,
it's gonna be a rough.
I was told. Yeah, there used to be a friend of mine, Sean Mulholland. It's back about 2009. He brought a new beverage into the arena, which was it was like, oh, Martin, you should try drinking a bottle of port. So then we would fucking get a bottle of port.
Wine?
Yeah, port wine. And it was half the price of Buckfast. So we'd go in, get a bottle of Sandyman port, drink that and cans, and then go out for a night out, and then go to a house party afterwards. So, yeah.
In America, we had a similar version. We had cheap wine. It was called Mad Dog or 2020. Some people might
2020. Those little fruity fucking things.
Yeah,
they had that in England
really
as well.
Bright colored. Yeah. You down a couple of those and head out for the night.
As John Smith said, down 750 ml of 14.5 fortified wine. You can have a bad day the next day. But it's not only that. Like it's enriched with potassium, sodium, and caffeine. So it's like fucking speed in a bottle, man. You drink a full bottle of that, and it's like off the fucking moon for a few days.
Speedballing.
Daniel Hertz said he likes to gamble over a drink, especially being in a legal state. It must be great just to be able to go down to the.
It is. The old lady yesterday had to tell me, slow it down a little bit. I think you're buying a little too much.
When did it become legalized in Chicago?
January 1st of this year.
Ah, right. Okay.
Yeah. But and then COVID hit, and so it really messed up the supply. But now we're starting to get some good stuff in through the dispensaries right now.
Yeah, you're getting a nice little blaze on.
Oh yeah.
That sounds fucking. Yeah, funny enough, like in Ireland, they should legalize medical marijuana. At least just because. Would that be more so CBD over THC, or does it depend on what you're using it for?
It depends on what you're using it for.
Because if people got glaucoma in their fucking eyes, they need for their eyes, man.
So I don't go blinder. Yeah.
Exactly. Lauren Kavanagh says that sugar tax is shit. Just 1 out of 100 things in England now. They're cutting free travel for kids and elderly, raise prices just to drive through central London. I mean, England's fucked. It's just it's a kip at this stage. Like it's like America. It's just been hollowed out by bad bastards who are making themselves obscenely wealthy.
Did you see that latest bit in Bristol with they removed one statue and they replaced it with a monument to a young lady from the BLM movement, and I think Bristol had to tear it down today because it was technically an illegal structure, but still,
Did it go in the bin?
I believe so. I don't know. I don't know what
someone must have shelled out.
It's no longer in the public space anymore.
How the fuck do you knock up a statue in such a short space of time, man? Because I've seen that statue. It looks well fucking detailed. But they've 3D scanners, man, with metal.
Well, and I thought, and you would know better than me. I thought there's CCTV all over the place over there, so you can't. And I would have assumed there would be some camera. How do you get a statue of that size on a pedestal?
Yeah, actually, that's a good point.
And not be seen by anybody.
I'd say it's probably seen, but people like, oh look, probably. I thought it was sanctioned by the community.
The mayor, the mayor of Bristol was kind of sounded like he was not in a very good position, but he, under the law, he had to do what he had to do. But I just thought that was an interesting. That's pretty smooth.
Yeah, I was going to say there was a great point here by Bailey Francisco. Marijuana seeds need to be legal everywhere. Nothing has happened in Colorado since legalization. Look, I mean, at the end of the day, it's a fucking plant. Do you know what I mean? Look at that, Sean blazing it up. Yeah, bitch.
Yeah.
Blazing squad, meet with the crossroads. But it's Yeah, I think it's fucking ridiculous that the only reason it's banned is because it was so versatile in all of its uses. I mean, it's been used through fucking millennia. You know, it's probably one of those old remedies that people used back in the day. But what's it say here, Lauren? 13 quid to drive through London if you don't have an electric car, and it's £12 if you go on a Monday to Friday. Jeez,
so they're trying to discourage. They're trying to encourage.
Well, they're doing this everywhere, man.
Motive.
They're trying to get rid of.
Fossil
Yeah, you know, you see, you take cars off people, you take their independence of free and rapid travel away, and yeah, I mean, like electric cars. Like, let's say if you're hit with an EMP, everything electronic it's fucked. If EMP technology actually does work, it's useless. Whereas
a good book for you to read if you're into that kind of stuff. I forget what the name.
Harry Potter.
Huh? Harry Potter? No. It's called 1 Second After. It's a fiction, but it's basically a what if scenario. If an EMP device were to.
Oh man, it'd be fucking crazy. It would be absolutely. I mean, like, it would be absolutely mental.
You can't replace those transformers. I mean, those. You'd be in the dark ages for quite a while.
Yeah, it's like the end of Escape from LA, where Snake Plissken goes with this, blows out the light, and he just kills the power on everything. Bit of. I don't know if any of you guys have seen Escape from LA.
New York?
Yeah, LA is a sequel, but man, talk about some fucking high odds. Some of the highest odds ever. Like, there was a basketball tournament where he had to run to the end of each court and throw the basketball and get it in the net. And every time it was like a Tibetan sprint, but he had to throw the ball in the net each time he did it. And I was like, it was nearly as far-fetched as that scene in Daylight with Sylvester Stallone, where they have to swim under like this tunnel underwater, and he's underwater for like 3 minutes in the most harrowing of circumstances and lives. It's like, nah, it's not buying that, mate. It's not buying it.
Yeah, I can suspend my disbelief only to a certain point.
Yeah, then it just becomes a bit too daft, like fucking Die Hard, A Good Day to Die Hard, or even Die Hard 3. That was just. I remember watching that, being like, so he's driving a fucking dump truck under a tunnel under New York City. He stands up on. He lets it fucking drive unmanned, climbs onto the roof, and manages to somehow. I forgot. There's a massive torrent of water behind him in the tunnel, and he manages to just jump off the roof of the dump truck as this massive wave of water just about smashes into the dump truck and pushes him out of the. With the pressure, he comes up on top of a big spring and lands in the middle of Washington Park. And I was like, nah. Even as a 15-year-old watching it, I was like, nah. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Even with all the CGI of the time, which was great, it still couldn't be. And actually, as you were talking about that, I was kind of thinking of Con Air. The Nicolas Cage one.
Daniel Hertzler wrote Con Air as well as another one. Die Hard. Yeah. Hard as fuck should be the title of the next one. Bailey writes, is it true from the Hardy book series that you can just wake up early and pick magic mushrooms? And John Smith very correctly put, yes, depending on what time of year. South-facing slopes, mid-October until the first frost comes.
What kind grow out there?
Psilocybin, the little Liberty caps.
Are they the ones though that look like they have like the little from Super Mario Brothers? Like they have the little white, the red cap.
No, they're Flygaric mushrooms, and you get them all over here.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of.
But the Vikings used to give them to the reindeers because the reindeers could eat them, and then the Vikings would drink the piss, and then they would go on berserker missions and raiding people while smashed on fucking toxic reindeer piss.
Hey, you got to be on something to get through that shit.
Flip over cow patties.
The reason I bring that up is if you ever checked out this program called Hamilton's Pharmacopoeia,
what's it called?
He's a trained chemist. Hamilton's Pharmacopoeia.
Hamilton's Pharmacopoeia.
Yeah.
Sounds like
it's a series. It's a series by a fella by the name of Hamilton. I can't remember his full name. Kind of a geeky looking fella.
Disney made a theatrical production of him.
Hamilton. Different Hamilton.
Pharmacopoeia or Pharmatopia?
Pharmacopoeia.
Oh, sound. And he tells you where to get free fun stuff from the wild.
Well, what he does is he travels the world, and one of the episodes he's
from London to the Bay.
Yeah, baby. He's over in the Carpathians, and he's hooking up with this Ukrainian dude. They see a shaman out there, and people are just having a good old time, picking mushrooms and tripping. And again,
licking toads.
Kind of. So yeah, I think the shaman. Yeah, there's this pretty whacked in the one episode. There's a pretty whacked out shaman who does that. But he's a trained chemist, so he knows a lot. I mean, he can explain to you down to the molecular level exactly what's going on. And
he's a great man to have with you.
Shit. What's that? Oh yeah, he'd be handy. He'd be handy for a weekend.
Yeah. Well, come here, lads. I've just realised it's fucking 3:00 in the morning here.
You're some man for staying up that late.
I am indeed, mate. Look at this, Sean. Over in Chicago, man, the Windy City. Fair play to you. He's a good man for the power mods. And well, look, Sean, I'll let you go, mate. And I'll see if I can get another one of these bad boys streams going. But I'm thinking any of the spicy live streams, I'm going to put them into unlisted and then stick them up on Patreon for the patrons to enjoy. Because yeah,
if you could put together a best of the bits clips, man.
Best of the bits.
Take out some of the edgier stuff. And that would be kind of slick. There's some production value going on here.
Yeah, there is, man. There is. It's good stuff.
What do I know? You're the professional. What do I know?
Yeah, you see, I used to have lads who could do this for me, but not anymore. I've got to do it myself. I realized I have to invest in just getting a powerful. Actually, the other man's told you about this. A powerful Windows laptop that I could just fucking run OBS off and then do Streamlabs and all that kind of stuff. Get the fancy bells and whistles in, and then maybe get a monitor. But it's probably better off to have a laptop. I don't know. I was thinking.
It depends. I mean, do you need the mobility?
Mobility would be handy, yeah. I don't know. We'll see.
Then yeah, get a laptop. But generally a desktop is going to be more powerful because it's got more. I mean, literally, it's a 300 watt power supply versus 120 watt power supply for laptop. But no, you'd be handy enough. You can get a laptop.
Yeah. Do more with old Billy Gates's the best of bummings to you too, Jade. I'll do anything for you. A national award-winning filmmaker here in America. I know that doesn't mean anything in Ireland, but definitely tell you, Bailey, man, you're the talented Mr. Francisco. But listen, dudes.
Quite in San Francisco here, yeah.
Yeah, but listen, Shawnee Nogue, I'll talk to you soon, mate, and enjoy the rest of your evening over there in Chicago. Take your handy.
Right.
Give the wave smoking bowls of Shawnee. There's the dog there.
Damn.
All right, I'm going to take the dog out for piss as well before I go to bed. But listen, I'll talk to you later, Sean. Fair play to you.
Be well.
Thanks for stopping by. You be well too, mate. Good luck, mate. Right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for sticking it out this long. It's been good old crack. What the clip show should be called? The best of the bummings. That's fucking great, man. Hey, look, you guys are all right. Thanks for sticking around. Thanks for everyone who threw in a few quid. And thank you to all the patrons out there and all the lads on the Discord. And yeah, if any fancy joining the Patreon page, please join that. And best 2 hours of your life. Fucking hey, fair play, man. You made it. You made it the special occasion. Johnny and Smith. Good luck, guys. Give it the old thumbs up on the way out. And I'll talk to you later. Good luck and God bless.